to be here today. I'm Stephen Friedman. I'm the Assistant Dean of Admissions. Brianna?
I'm Brianna Hunchu. I'm the Director of Recruiting.
I'm Tara. I'm a 3L student ambassador.
So the way this will work is this is just our weekly meeting. We don't have a big agenda. Obviously, we have our special VIP guest, Tara Brockman. Did you describe yourself as a 3L student? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that would be the simplest explanation of what Tara does for the law school. Or you could say she has just about every leadership role at the law school that is available. She's our SBA president. She's our ambassador president. I know you're on various other committees and student clubs. So we're really, Tara's been wonderful to be a part of the law school for 3 years. And you are graduating in just a few weeks. But before then, what do you got going?
I have 2 finals. I have the jurisdiction final and family law final. So
that's not too
well.
bad.
No, not bad at all.
Yeah. So the format of this is we're going to just talk for a bit. We want your questions. You can ask questions either. You can put yourself on mute and just ask. That's totally fine. Or if you feel more comfortable asking a chat question, that's good too. Let's get you guys involved right from the beginning. I see we have a few folks on there. Can you guys tell us where you're from? Taylor? Let's start with you. Are you there? How about Michael? Michelle, I think, is that Michelle?
It's Mikhail.
Mikhail.
How y'all doing?
Hi, Mikhail. Good. Yeah, we had some discussions in the office, like, how do we pronounce your name? Now we know.
Mikhail, like Gorbachev, or if you've seen that movie, Mikhail's Navy.
Yeah. Oh, Mikhail Gorbachev. He's one of my favorite Soviet premiers of all time. So.
I mean, just like a couple of blemishes on his record. Maybe some nuclear disasters.
I mean, he's no Yuri Andropov, but you know.
Well, I'm from Hays, Kansas. But I lived in Olathe until about 3 years ago, and then I currently live in Southern Illinois. But I drive back and forth. I split my time between Olathe and Carbondale. So.
Cool. Kevin, where are you from? Oh, you're on mute there. Let's see.
There we go. Everyone is muted when they come in for, everyone's purposes, just to make sure there's not a bunch of backfeed. So.
Right. Well, I was born in Virginia, and then I grew up in Rhode Island until 2005, and then I was in Indiana from 2005 to 2013, and then I've been in Wisconsin since 2013. So I don't really have a state that I would say that I'm from. I like to say Rhode Island, but I've been kind of everywhere.
Cool. Anyone else want to jump in?
Hey,
okay. Oh, here we go, Kyler.
How's it going?
Great.
Good. I am from little small town Kansas, Silver Lake, Kansas, which is a little bit west of Topeka. But born and raised in Kansas. I University of Kansas undergrad. So I've spent a lot of time here.
Cool. Well, this is great. Let's turn our attention to Tara for a little bit. But like we said, please feel free to ask questions. Did you all get the email this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, we normally send it about a week ago, but we just, every time I was about to press send, we'd have a new, with everything going on, wanted to make sure we had everything finalized. So glad we got that out there this morning. So yeah, let's turn our attention to Tara, put the spotlight on her. Tara, where are you from? You're on mute.
Sorry. I'm from a mix of Kansas City and Overland Park. I guess I consider both places home. I've spent probably equal parts of my life there. My parents are divorced, so one parent lives in one and the other lives in the other. So that's been fun. I did KU undergrad. I graduated with a philosophy and a psychology degree. I was in the KU marching band. It was this whole thing. And then I came to KU Law, and it's funny because before visiting KU Law, it wasn't my top choice. But then I walked into the law school, and you sit in the class and you meet the professors, and it's just kind of the environment that takes you over, and you really understand, and you kind of like get the feel, and you just feel home, and it's very easy to feel home. Does anybody have any questions, or should I talk about my experiences, or is there anything specific anybody wants to hear?
Well, before we go too far, I promised Tara that we would only be on this call for like 20 minutes because she is in finals. So
No
FYI.
worries if it goes longer. No
Okay,
worries.
I'll try to keep my question really brief, but as a fellow philosophy undergraduate degree holder, I'm wondering how that has influenced your law school experience.
I will say that, well, in philosophy, there's a lot of deep thinking. I actually accidentally majored in philosophy, and it was because I took so many of the classes that my advisor called me in and said, hey, you need to take 3 more and then you get the degree. And I think I liked them because they challenged me. They challenge you to think outside of your comfort zone, and they challenge you to kind of think outside of the box, something that you would normally do. And I would say that that's right up the law school alley. There's never a right answer in law school, and that can be really, really frustrating sometimes because you're trying to get to the maybe line. You know, it could be yes, it could be no, but most times it's usually maybe. And so that's kind of what the philosophy degree did for me, is it helped shape my mind a little bit. But honestly, if anybody didn't have one coming into law school, they could still get to the same maybe area of law school without it.
What's more difficult to read, 25 pages of philosophy or 25 pages of case law?
Definitely 25 pages of case law. Just because, at least with philosophy, I feel like there's so many people who have interpreted a lot of the great philosophers like Aristotle. And it's just, there's so many people who have interpreted it. With a case law, you could have 30 people read one case, and all 30 people could have a different interpretation of that case. And it's insane that that's possible, but I guess that's the beauty of law, and that's kind of like the comfort of making that case your own, and kind of the flexibility and the creativity you have. And that's what I really enjoy about it.
What tell us a little bit about law school finals. I know that's probably your least favorite subject right now. But how do finals work? How do you prepare for them? And you're a 3L, you're graduating. You've done well here at KU. What are some good tips for those?
I would say that majority of the law school finals are, well, I guess your first year, majority of your classes, your final is your only grade in the class. And it sounds kind of horrible, but I actually appreciated it because you really don't know what you're doing up until the final. And so it's kind of nice that you're not being graded against that. And it all kind of, I feel like it all clicks when you start studying for the final. So it's kind of like you're just reading a bunch of cases, you're getting a lot of information, a lot of rules. And then when you get to the final and you're putting it all together, you're like, oh my God, it makes sense. And I'm glad that that's when they decide to grade us, is because it's like when you actually get to sit down and focus on that material. That's what I like about it. But I think that the finals they're usually 3 hours. You're typing, you have the option to write, but most people type. It's 3 hours of just typing, and some of them are open, some of them are closed. It just depends on the professor's preference. I personally like closed finals better because with an open final, you feel like you need to check yourself, and so you know a rule, but you're like, oh, I have to double check because it's here, I might as well. And so you kind of get lost in double checking things, when in reality, if it's closed, you just go with your gut, you know what you're doing, and you kind of like just own it a little bit, and it makes you feel a little bit more confident. So, yep, finals aren't bad. I know it sounds bad that that's your only grade in law school usually, but I actually, most students prefer it. The year gets busy, and so I think that not having to do all the work up into the final is kind of nice.
Yeah. So actually, I circle back to something you said earlier I thought was interesting, was that KU Law wasn't your first choice, even though you went to, I mean, you must bleed blue and crimson by now. What was your concern, and about KU Law?
I think that honestly, one of my concerns is I did undergrad there, and you create a lot of memories in undergrad, and I didn't want law school to kind of take over those memories. I know it sounds kind of weird, but when you create such a bond with people for 4 years, you really want to hold those and cherish those. Also, I kind of just wanted something different. I did KU, I experienced the basketball, the football, everything, and so I was like, oh, something different would be nice for a change. And then, like I said, I visited the law school. It was something that I felt like somebody told me, visit all the law schools you can visit. That's something that you really owe to yourself. And I was like, oh, well, it's right down the hill or up the hill, and I've never been, so I might as well. And so I went and I sat in on the class, and I really wasn't, I went in thinking I'm just doing this because I have to. It's not because I want to. And I really I enjoyed speaking to the professors and speaking to the different, like people went out of their way to say hi to me, like students and faculty and staff. And so that was nice. It felt welcoming. That wasn't something I got on a lot of my visits. A lot of my visits just felt kind of robotic or routine. And so it was just kind of like, okay, this is just something that they have to do, and they're just getting it over with. When I visited KU, it felt like they really were centering the day around me, which is crazy because everybody's doing a billion things at once. And so that's kind of, that speaks to KU. It speaks to the faculty, especially, which is what I really loved. It was one of the only schools I visited with an open door policy, which is nice because 95% of the day, the professors have their doors open for you to ask questions and you have access to them. That other 5%, they're usually eating lunch or in the bathroom or teaching class. So it's like they dedicate their entire day and their entire weeks, their lives to you for however long you're in law school. And it's nice because majority of my jobs that I got in law school were because professors recommended me to attorneys, and I got jobs. I got a job taking a class. I was in expert witness skills, and in one of those classes, the attorneys judge you, and then right after the end of that class, he offered me a job, which is just insane. It's unheard of, but it speaks to the faculty and the staff and how much they push the students. And so I think that really, I wanted a job after law school, and I have one. And I think that really speaks to the due diligence that KU Law does to make sure that you're successful.
Where are you going to be working?
I'm actually moving to Wichita. I'll be working for a firm called Joseph Hollander and Kraft, doing domestic and criminal law, which is what I wanted to do. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Are your folks happy you're moving to Wichita?
I think my mom's bummed. I was the last kid of hers to be in town. So I think she was bummed that I was leaving, but it's not that far away.
No, it's pretty close. Yeah, so Brianna, do you have a question?
Yeah, does anybody else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I'm just excited that you're going to be down in Wichita. That's where I'm from, by the way. It's Wichita, Kansas. So we can discuss.
I have a quick question for you, Tara.
What's up?
What are some student organizations that you have been involved in or are involved in? And can you talk a little bit about your experiences with those?
Ooh, okay. So I am president of the Student Bar Association. The Student Bar Association is kind of like your student senate of the law school. It's kind of like the organization that's the intermediate between the student body and the administration. Any concerns or changes that the law school is wanting to see or students are wanting to see, we push those to the administration, and we really advocate on behalf of the students. I think that was very challenging during this COVID-19 stuff because it was so none of us had ever really experienced this, and we were all handed it very quickly. And so it was really nice to see how the administration adapted and they listened to the needs of the students. I would say not a lot, but a good portion of students have children or are they're non-traditional. And so their lives were a lot different than, the average student. I don't have kids or anything. I'm at home. But if I had like a 3-year-old running around, I don't know how I would be able to get my stuff done, my daily duties. And so it was really nice to see the administration care and adapt and change things for them. I'm also a part of the Black Law Student Association. There's one for, I think, every multicultural group at KU. There's the Hispanic Law Association, there's the Asian, there's multiple. I'm a part of that. It's really nice that they do the Thanksgiving food drive, which they host a week-long event where essentially everybody's competing against the classes, like 1Ls, all the small sections compete against each other, and you see who can bring in the most food for the local shelter in town and food pantry in town. And so that's nice because it's like they look forward to that, and they look forward and they seek that every year, and we always surprise them by how much food we can get donated by each class. I'm also a part of the student ambassadors. It's a very good, fun group to be a part of. I love meeting new people and getting to see the different backgrounds where everyone's from. I'm always amazed by how many different degrees people come into law school with. I mean, I've met theater degrees, music degrees, and I just think that's so crazy that, you know, everybody has the same interest in law, but they were able to pursue their other interest in undergrad, which I like that. It's really cool. I can't think of any of the other ones I'm a part of. I did the Project for Innocence at KU. That was really fun. I was an intern for an entire year. I loved being able to take the practical skills that you learn in class and then using them to real clients. That was really fun.
So, you know, we get a lot of interest in that program. What exactly do you do when you're a student in the Project for Innocence?
So
like,
there's
what's a day-to-day type of thing that you do?
There's 3 attorneys in that office, and they pair you with a partner, and then they give you cases. So when we got there, we were given, me and my partner were given 2 cases, and you treat them like they're your client. We visited our client in jail. We went to his hearings. We created his motions. We didn't argue our motions, but that was because we didn't have the license to. But if you had the license, which you can get after your 2nd year, you can argue those motions in court, which is cool because you're the attorney and the supervisor is literally just supervising you. It was nice because it showed you what would happen if you were working at a law firm after law school and how the process would go. You would write something, you would submit it for feedback, they'd give you feedback, and then you'd redo it. And then, you know, you're really advocating on behalf of somebody. It's nice to get to hear their stories, go and visit them, and you're getting class credit for it. You're getting a grade for it. So that was really nice because it was just like I'm getting a grade to do something, to actually be taught to do something that I know I want to do, which you don't always get to see in the traditional like contracts or torts or those classes. You don't actually get to see the meaning behind them until you get to apply them. And so it was nice to be able to just apply those right out the gate. So I would encourage anybody to do the clinics at KU Law just because they're very practical, especially Project for Innocence, the Legal Aid Clinic, the Elder Law Clinic. You're getting to do a lot of work and advocate on behalf of actual clients, which is nice. Any other questions? These are good questions.
Hello? Go
Taylor,
ahead.
Yes.
why don't you go ahead? We'll let Kevin take the next question.
I'm so sorry. You can go ahead. I didn't.
You're fine.
Sorry. My thing was my Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I think I missed the introductions. I'm Taylor, by the way. You can't see me, but I'm from Texas. I actually have a question about the Project for Innocence. I believe when I went and toured, the woman told me that it generally starts in your 3rd year. Did you say that you interned and did you begin in your 2nd year, or I'm just looking at a time frame for that because I'm super interested.
So how that works is I actually did it my 2nd year. I'm some 3rd year law school students do it, but that's just because most of those licenses that you apply for, you have to have 60 hours. And so if you wanted to argue in court, you would have to wait until after your 2nd year to do that. But I did it after my 1st year. The application process comes out. There's like a big fair where all the clinics come and you get to learn about them. And the application process comes out. You fill out why you're interested, and then you turn it in. And then based on the number of applicants they choose, I think there was like 25 of us, maybe a little less. It was nice. I think that most of the people who did it were 2nd year law school students. So I think that you could do it either way you wanted. If you wanted to jump it, I think that that's a good idea just because your 2nd year is, I think, the year that you really find out what you want to do. Your 1st year, you're just kind of learning all the basics. And then your 2nd year, you're really finding yourself in what area of law you see yourself doing. And for me, I saw that in the Project for Innocence. I saw the things that I liked about criminal law and the things I disliked about criminal law, the things I wanted to change, the things that motivated me. And so that was something that I really liked. And I would, if you're interested into doing it, I would push you to do it, after your 1st year. you apply, I think, the spring semester, and then hopefully you get chosen. But I would introduce yourself to those attorneys in the office, Professors Phillips, Cataforis, and Craig. Go ahead and introduce yourself to them, get familiar with what they do, the kind of work they do. And then, just express your interest and then apply. And I would say just go for it. And you can do it your third year as well. They do have what's called the Advanced Project for Innocence, and you're allowed to continue on your cases if you wanted to your third year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. All right, Kevin.
Alrighty, thank you. So I'm curious, I guess, two parts of two separate questions. What services, like in the university, would you say that you've utilized more as a law student versus an undergrad student? And then I'm just curious what the timeline is for kind of getting your internship or kind of summer plans together for the summer in between 1L and 2L year. And
Okay. The services that I've utilized the most. Oh, that's a good one. I think that I used, so I don't know if she still is, but Professor Six, my 1L year was the academic success. I don't know. There's like an academic success person, and essentially I went to her because if I wasn't understanding something, she has like this outside of her office, there's this like bookshelf of supplements and like flashcards, law on a flashcards, just a bunch of stuff that if you are not understanding a topic, there's like just so much information on a topic that you can read additional materials about. I found myself using that a lot 1L year just because like once you've talked to your professor so many times, you're like, okay, what else can I do besides rereading the material and talking to my professor to know that I understand this material? And so going to those books and working out different hypotheticals was something that I used to help me. I also did career services. I would talk to them a lot. As a 1L, you'll have several events that you get to network. And they teach you how to network. They teach you how to dress. They teach you, the ins and outs of becoming an attorney. And so I used those. I went to the networking event because it was so unfamiliar to me. I had no family members in law or anything. And so I wanted to make sure I was doing things right going into that interview. As far as applying for jobs, your first semester of law school, the ABA does not allow you, I think, is that correct? Is it the ABA who makes that says you can't start looking for jobs until, I think it's like December 1st or January 1st. They have,
the NALP similar.
Okay,
scenario,
so
yeah.
there's just a rule saying that you can't start seeking jobs until December 1st, which is very necessary because if you're spending your time looking for a job, that's time that you're taking away from your schoolwork. And that first semester, it's just a grind time. And so then after coming back from that first semester, they have what's called on-campus interviews or OCIs, and all the firms or the bigger or the mid-sized firms, they'll come to KU and you can interview with them there. And that's super nice. I loved doing OCIs, one, because they do have what's called mock interviews. So you get to interview with real attorneys and they give you feedback, which I thought was really nice. And two, I liked that you didn't have to travel all over the place to get these interviews. Like people came from like Wichita or Omaha, and it's just like, okay, I would not have had time to go to those places during my school year, but I'm glad that they came here to give us that opportunity. And so I would say focus on school first and then focus on the job, because the job will always come. I know that it's weird to hear, but the job always comes, but the schooling you have to tackle first, because the schooling is what gets you the job.
Sure. And are most of them paid? I guess I'm not as familiar with that. Or are they mostly kind of unpaid internships?
Your first year, I don't know. I guess your first year, I would say probably 40% are paid, maybe. That might be a high number. But I'm not sure. I guess it just depends on where people go. You have a good portion of people go big law. It depends on what you're interested in. So if you're interested in, state like our government jobs, they don't always have the budget to, pay every single intern. But the experience you get there is crazy. Like the most experience I ever got in a job was unpaid. I worked at the prosecutor's office in Jackson County. I did about 25 hours there a week. I was literally in charge of the docket. I ran the traffic court docket. They treated me like an attorney. I was an attorney, but I didn't get paid. And so it's just like that experience actually helps me get the job that I got now. And so it's kind of like, You pick or choose what you want, but I think the bigger firms, the mid-sized firms, they do have the budget to pay up front. So it just depends, but that scale moves as you get older. So second year, I would say, you know, that 40% maybe turns into 60, 65, 70%. So it gets bigger, you know, the more you know, the more attorneys in the area value you.
For sure. All right.
Great question. Well, Tara, we want to let you get back to studying for finals because there's, you know, because that's
Okay.
just too much fun to keep you away from. And
It's her last
All right.
one.
Yeah.
I know, that's awesome.
Yay.
All right.
I'll tell you what, that is going to be a great feeling when you're done that last final.
And
Yes, I'm excited.
You'll never have to take a final exam again.
It's very
Yes.
bizarre. It's
The rest
very
of our
bizarre.
guests, you got a lot of finals to look forward to.
Okay, well, law school's fun. If anybody has any additional questions that they couldn't ask, I am on the KU Law Ambassador page for probably the next couple of weeks before they remove me. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, Facebook message me, whatever you need. I can answer those questions. But good luck, everybody. Good luck finishing up your undergraduate careers if you're there. So yeah, good seeing everybody.
See you there. Hey,
Bye, guys.
bye. If the rest of you have any questions, Bree and I are here. We're happy to answer questions. So if you have them, fire away. If not, that's fine too. But you know, this weekly Q&A is meant to offer another forum for you guys to ask questions. So feel free to ask any questions you have.
I guess I have a quick one. When do we start needing to have like the formal wear? Like, because I don't own suits, but I don't want to buy them in advance if I don't have to.
Do you want me to take this one, Steve?
Sure.
Since it's fresher.
You're our office fashion expert, so yes.
Oh, thanks. Kevin, I would say kind of like how Tara was talking, you will definitely need it like business wear when you start interviewing. But everyone understands that you're a law student and you don't have extra money just falling off of trees. One of the cool things about the area where Lawrence is that we are very close to the Legends Outlet Mall, which has quite a few options. So for just a personal background story, I went into most of my interviews up until 3L year wearing a total of a $50 Banana Republic outlet suit, and everyone kind of just understands that. There might be some events in the fall, like fairs and things like that, that you might want to have just one professional looking outfit. So just like a jacket, some slacks, and like one shirt. I think that honestly, if you have just one outfit to get you through 1L year, that would be helpful. Then kind of shop some sales and things like that when they come around during Christmas time or something like that. But if you can have just one outfit, I mean, it's not like you're going to have an event every night or something in law school. So you can get by with one professional looking dress outfit.
A business suit.
Yeah, a business suit.
In your first year, have one business suit.
And I'm saying professional dress because it's different. If you identify dressing as a female and you want to wear just like a dress and a jacket. So just, yeah, professional looking wear. I know it's boring, but black is easy. A black professional suit, it matches pretty much everything.
Just go into Men's Warehouse, tell them you need one business suit. They'll send you.
I'll have to get reacquainted with them.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier for guys, I have to admit.
A lot of my guy friends used Kohl's, honestly, because it's relatively inexpensive, and they will give you things like Kohl's Cash. And this is not a paid advertisement.
You don't need like $1,000 Italian
No.
suit or $2,000 Italian suit.
Yeah.
Just a basic. But you do want one. When you're a 1L, have one suit for guys,
Yes.
and for women, one equivalent.
And it would be helpful if you were able to come in with that one outfit that you make sure you sit in it, make sure you're comfortable standing in it for a while, but just come in with at least one, because I didn't, because I had no jobs that required me to, and I had to go shopping like the night before something, and I got really stressed out. So yeah, if you can come in with just one, that's a good
tribal
idea.
court has been kind of relaxed. They're kind of more relaxed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they try to have us not wear jeans, but that's about it.
But also we have a closet through career services where alums and individuals will donate some of their clothes that either no longer fit them or no longer serve the purpose for the job that they're at. So for instance, I have gathered up some stuff from my prosecution days that I don't need to wear in my current job role. So there's a closet in the career services office, and you can borrow an outfit from there. I mean, obviously, like sizing, we have no idea if it's going to fit or not, but you can try on some stuff and take that too. The career services office is really understanding. So if you have difficulty, just talk to them.
Mm-hmm. And that typically includes ties for those who identify as male.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the funny thing is when you go, when you start going out into the work world, you're going to find a lot of law offices are more casual on a day-to-day basis. But when you show up, you don't show up casual. You show up in a professional suit. After a week or maybe 2 weeks, if it's 100% clear that it is a business casual environment, then you can switch to business casual. But, you know, the saying is, you know, especially when you're just starting or an intern, always overdress. And then for the more ambitious people, always dress in the clothes for your next job, as they say. So don't, you know, if you go in and the partner kind of schlubby, don't take that as a signal to be schlubby. You know, keep, you know, unless someone sits you down and says, you're making me feel uncomfortable by wearing the suit, please, for God's sakes, you know, dress casual. At that point, you can dress casual, but always, I say always overdress. But it's not that big a deal. And our career services office, like Bree said, will make sure you're on the right track. This should not be high on your list of worries. So.
There are so many people that have worked in the same types of jobs or the same places where you're going to be looking for one, and you can reach out to those people. And usually it's going to be the person that's a grade or two above you, a 2L or a 3L. You will figure out who they are. I mean, we're a relatively small school. So I knew every person that had the job before me, and I would ask them, okay, so like, what's this going to be like? They would say, oh, Fridays are always jeans, and they forget to tell you, but then they'll make fun of you if you're not wearing jeans. So just wear jeans on the first Friday. So you can ask people and they will help you out too, just kind of like dress code wise.
Cool. Any other questions out there? All righty. Well, you know how to reach us if you do have a question. And feel free to post on Facebook. We really love it when people post questions on Facebook. We find that really helpful because then not only can, you know, some of the questions are more questions that are better for students to answer than us, kind of like the question, you know, similar to what Kevin just asked. And then you can, our students can come in and give you some good advice too. So especially questions like housing and student life, all that kinds of things. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity here from everybody. And then also practical questions like what's the next deadline or something like that. That way everybody can read the answer. So we look forward to seeing you on Facebook. You can email us. And of course, we'll be here every Tuesday. So thanks for joining us, and talk to you later, guys.
Thank you kindly.
Bye. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.